Okay, we've got Richard and Alex and I. Oh my. So we're going to get started. You ready, Steve? You ready for the Christmas tree thing too? Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Temple of the Living God. We welcome you here today. We're so glad you're here. You have come on the very perfect Sunday because today is the kickoff of the holiday season here at the temple. It's the Kringle Mingle. Yeehaw. The Kringle Mingle with the potluck attached to it. So you know that's always a good time. And as you can see, we have our trees out. And so Steve is going to show all the people on social media our beautiful tree. How about giving a round of applause to the tree? We just want to show it off. And also a big thank you to all the folks that have helped to put that up. But we're going to get going now. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. No problem. Anytime.
1, 2, 3, 4. If you've got faith and you believe in what you're living for, you can stand your ground when there's trouble at your door. And a little hope can help you when the road is getting rough. But there's nothing quite like life if you got love. If you got love, you can move a mountain a little bit further down the line. You can do it all at once, or one rock at a time. You can turn an ordinary picture into a priceless work of art. That's what you can do if you got love in your heart.
Now there's nothing like a real good friend to tell your troubles to. But there's just so much a real good friend can do. 'Cause it takes the good Lord's touch to chase the darkest blues away. And if you've got love, you've got what it takes.
If you got love, you can move a mountain a little bit further down the line. You can do it all at once, or one rock at a time. You can turn an ordinary picture into a priceless work of art. That's what you can do if you got love in your heart. If you got love, you can move a mountain a little bit further down the line. You can do it all at once, or one rock at a time. You can turn an ordinary picture into a priceless work of art. That's what you can do if you got love. That's what you can do if you got love. That's what you can do if you got love in your heart.
And I know you do.
In your heart. In your heart.
Again, welcome. And today we have with us Reverend Karmene Lusis as our speaker on the topic of the abundance of miracles. So welcome her.
All righty. We've chosen this song today because of the topic of Reverend Carmen's talk. I hope you enjoy it.
We have miracles in abundance. Every heartbeat is a miracle. Every breath we take is a miracle. Don't miss them by looking for the big one. Everybody wants a miracle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, slowly, go ahead. Gotta turn the page. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that unusual when everything is beautiful. It's just another ordinary miracle today. The sky knows when it's time to snow. Don't need to teach a seed to grow. It's just another ordinary miracle today. Life is like a gift, they say, wrapped up for you every day. Open up and find a way to give some of your own.
Isn't it remarkable that every time the raindrop falls, it's just another ordinary miracle today? Birds in winter have their fling, but always make it home by spring. It's just another ordinary miracle today.
When you wake up every day, please don't throw your dreams away. Hold them close to your heart, 'cause we're all a part of the ordinary miracle.
Of the ordinary miracle.
Our ordinary miracle.
It's an ordinary miracle.
Do you want
Beautiful song, isn't it? Yeah. An ordinary miracle. There's a story about a young gentleman, his name is Chris, who used to work as a dolphin trainer at an amusement park. And after 30 years, he quit the job. And then one day he came back to the amusement park. And he was speaking with the workers there now, and he was amazed to see all the improvements and how technology had done wonders there. And in his conversation with the people that were there, the guides, he let them know that he used to work there. Well, the guys said, well, let's give you a tour. So they went around on the amusement park, and the guide was sharing with Chris that the dolphins that they have now all were a product of, all were born of the matriarch dolphin named Bubbles. And Chris was just, his jaw dropped, and he said, you know, I used to train Bubbles. And as soon as he was sharing this with the guide, all of a sudden they were near the tank where the dolphins were. Bubbles swam up to the tank, and they started having a conversation. And he was so inspired that because he heard his voice and he recognized his face, that there he was. It was like, my trainer is here, my friend. What a miracle, isn't that? Yes. Wow. Kind of touches the heartstring, for sure. Yeah. It's amazing when we're greeted so marvelously and remembered, isn't it? Years ago, I took a trip up to Canada to visit my relatives, and had a dog, a Labrador dog, a yellow lab. And of course, she was just so excited when I got there. I mean, you know, how the tails wag, and those yellow labs, they have strong tails, you know. And but we had, at one point in time, I was sitting with Jem, is her name, and we were just sitting face to face and just having this silent conversation. And there was such a wonderful connect there. And all of a sudden, she just gently licked me on my nose. She kissed me on my nose. And I was told that she's never done that with anybody. Wow. Well, that's a moment that I'll never forget. And perhaps she won't ever forget either. Well, she's in heaven now, and I'm sure she's remembering. But again, what an amazing miracle that gets to be experienced. And I'm sure that many of us have animal stories that would just pull at your heartstrings, yeah? Or know of someone else that has an animal where you've been in contact with. Well, as, of course, we've had Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping that everyone also was blessed with a very unique experience on your Thanksgiving Day, however that showed up. You know, and the word Thanksgiving, the act of thanksgiving, creates abundance in our lives. We know that the more grateful that we are, the more abundance that we attract into our lives. Yes? Yeah. Mm-hmm. We just need to be, or continue to be, open and receptive to the unlimited supply of the universe. And just say yes. Now be careful, when you say yes, wonderful things happen, unexpected things happen, all for your own spiritual growth, for your highest and best good. And often it's a matter of letting go and letting God and trusting, right? And allowing for the miracles to take place in our lives. We trust that the guidance will show up. And we trust that we will be filled with enthusiasm to move forward with whatever we're doing. And if it's meant that we are to experience certain situations or certain people in our lives, then sure enough, we will, right? Yeah. And we are always invited to thank God, Source, the universe, in advance for blessing each of us with the abundance of miracles every day. And with the knowing that God will provide all that we need at the given time. When we believe in something with all our heart and our mind, we can bring it to life. Do you believe that? Absolutely. Of course. Most of my life, I have been writing song lyrics, and I knew that one day, many of those would be shared in ways that would serve to make a difference in people's lives, and that eventually came to pass. Well, during another trip to Canada, I visited my father who had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And he shared words with me that changed my life 180 degrees. And what's miraculous about that is that we never talked. We never had in-depth conversations. Yet this time, what he shared were these words, that if there's something in life that you want to do, don't wait till it's too late to do it. Wow. That was a huge eye-opener. And it just so happened that I was thinking about, well, what could I do with my music? What possibilities could I create? Well, it was during that time, during that visit, I was divinely inspired to pursue with my dreams, making them a reality, just as we heard in the song, right? While I was there, I put together from start to finish the workshop entitled Embracing Your Magnificence. Now, this is back in the 80s, you know. And when I returned to Florida, I did the marketing that was needed. I contacted the churches, the centers, and it was 100% in all the way because I said yes to the miracles. An amazing journey for the next 25 years in which I got to be an entrepreneur, sharing the gifts. And I know some of you have experienced some of the events or just different types of expressions of creativity. And a lot of that was based on being able to bring inspiration, bring hope, bring healing, bring transformation where it was needed. And I had to believe, and I had to have faith that all that was possible to create. And when I did, of course, miracles began in abundance. Yeah. And when we know in the depths of our heart, when we clearly are guided by that still small voice within, it's important that we listen to the whispers, to the nudgings, to the inspirations, however they show up, as we move forward. And whether it's 25 or 50 or 75 years ago, it still holds true today, the importance of embracing our God-given guidance. As they say, miracles happen to those who believe. Yeah. Wayne Dyer, a New Thought author, and who also was a follower of the Buddhist way, he stated, Miracles come in moments. Be ready and willing. When we have the opportunity to embrace the gifts or the talents that we've been given, it's important that we do so humbly, remaining grateful that we have been chosen to bless the world with our unique talents, all those unique ways that we get to show up in the world. And perhaps the main reason for us to share who we are, just as Jesus did when he walked the earth, is to demonstrate that God is with us, working in and through us, expressing the gifts, the knowledge, the truth, the wisdom that each of us has been given. And we never know how we're going to touch someone's life, just as Jesus did 2,000 years ago, and still is. Each of us has the opportunity to leave a mark in this world and be the blessing, be a miracle. Miracles are happening all the time. We just need to open our eyes and be aware of God's presence, of love's presence, everywhere and every day. And sometimes we need gentle reminders, don't we? That's what we're here for, to remind each other of our truth. The Course in Miracles states that, and I quote, "Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them." Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. The Course also reminds us that miracles are examples of right thinking, aligning our perceptions with truth as God created it. End of quote. Anonymous once wrote, it's a lovely, lovely quote. It says, "When a prayer becomes your habit, miracles become your lifestyle." You need to hear that again? When prayer becomes your habit, miracles become your lifestyle. Everybody has a note thing there, you can write that down. Remember what Albert Einstein once wrote, that there are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle, or you can live as if everything is a miracle. Yeah. And Louise Hay, many of you are familiar with her work. She has stated that love is the great miracle cure. Loving ourselves works miracles in our lives. Yeah, end of quote. Whenever we have a grateful heart and express that, we become magnets for miracles to present themselves. And I remember Abraham Hicks speaking on the idea that if we just looked for things to appreciate, we would have a powerful tool to help us know who we really are. Yeah. When we look to nature, there's an amazing supply of miracles everywhere to appreciate, from the remarkable colors, shapes and sizes, and even aromas. There are even signs in nature that help to direct us or help us gain new understandings if we're open to the guidance. For example, recently I received a couple of orchids. And as I took one of the plants home, I was removing the plastic that surrounded it. And as I did so, I gently broke the stem and it bent over. Normally, if left alone, that hanging stem would begin to wither and die within a few days. Instead, I propped that portion of the stem so that it stood vertically and placed some tape around it and connected it to the little pole that it was leaning up against, right? Because it reconnected with the life force in the existing stem, it continued to thrive. Amazing. So its will to live is truly a miracle. And it appeared that as long as it was connected to the life force energy, it continued to survive and thrive. And perhaps that becomes a parable for each of us to be reminded of the importance for each of us to stay connected to God, to Source, if we are to survive and thrive. Yeah. Buddha once said that, and I quote, "If we could see the miracle of a single flower clearly, our whole life would change." How many of you have actually just sat with a flower and studied it? Perhaps some of you have. From my early days of childhood, I recall walking from flower to flower in my mother's garden. And I would look at them and I would study them and I would breathe in their aromas. And then I would notice that there were an array of insects walking through these different flowers. And they all existed in harmony and in peace with one another. And how wondrous that is. How astonishing to watch this calm world within the flowers. Then I wondered, as a little girl, that's how it's supposed to be among us humans. The insects are reminding all of us that we can exist together in peace and harmony. So we are invited to always have the conscious intention to live our inner peace and harmony. Author Doug Hannon once stated that, and I quote, "If we live with a sense of wonder, our lives become filled with joy." End of quote. And as children, I'm sure that all of us, most of us, lived in wonder. Yes, we've had that experience. And it's up to each of us to recapture those moments, those types of moments. Why not, right? Yeah. So I invite you, if you haven't been doing so lately, to make a commitment and start creating that in your life again. Look for the wonder. I was recently reminded of the significance of perhaps some of our grade school teachers left such a huge impression on us as children, in that they inspired us for the rest of our lives in the various directions that we were to follow. Those early childhood experiences were like miracles unfolding without even knowing how abundant they really were in our lives. So occasionally, my 5th grade teacher, who loved music, she instilled that in her students. And she would often have the students learn an instrument, maybe 1, maybe 2, on occasion 3 instruments. And the abundance of opportunities or miracles for me that resulted from those early years of inspiration were set in motion for the future performances that included recitals, competitions, concerts, shows, recordings, and even TV documentaries. There's so much gratitude now for having had those early childhood experiences that helped to mold who we are, right? Yeah. A week ago, I attended an event that celebrated the Latvian 104th year of their independence. And in most of the Latvian cultural events, there's always a performance portion of the program. And this year, it included a singer that performed a number of songs. And what was most intriguing was that this gentleman who performed sang the songs in Latvian, right? Go figure. But he himself is Japanese. Here's a person who was born and raised in Japan, traveled to Latvia, fell in love with the language, made it his vision to study in Latvia and learn the language in order to sing those well-beloved Latvian songs. Now he's traveling, touring the United States and other countries as well, sharing this incredible gift with the world. Every day offers a sacred opportunity to live in appreciation. When we find the sacred in everything and everyone, we find the wealth of miracles everywhere. As author Deborah Brody states, and I quote, "Seeing a miracle will inspire you, but knowing you are a miracle will change you." Wow. Yeah. So as I bring this to a conclusion, let us keep in mind that from our individual storehouse of abundant love, joy, peace, kindness, compassion, and creativity that each of us has to share, we are to remember that we are the blessing. We are to be the miracle for everyone that we meet today and every day. And so it is. Oh, we have an extra joining us. Okay, wonderful. Reindeer, Rudolph. We're going to move into our time of tithes and offerings at this time, and I would invite you to take your tithes and gifts in your hands and bless them. And I would ask the ushers to come forth at this time. And remember, after the service, we'll have the extra plates available at the exit there. So for those of you who are would like to participate in giving to the St. Pete Free Clinic as well, we say thank you ahead of time for that. So let us pray. Infinite radiant source of all life, we give thanks for the opportunity to share from our storehouse of good. We acknowledge that divine love moving in and through each and every one of us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. And now let us conclude our service with our final song. Before
our final song, I wanted to make mention that Carmen spoke of her music earlier, and I wanted you to know that if you need a miracle, we have several of her CDs available in the bookstore.
All right.
And if you really need a miracle, and you're old enough to remember what a cassette tape is, we have some of those available for the low, low price of free $99. So come see me for a miracle after service while they're getting ready for Kringle Mingle. Woo!
Okay, Feliz Navidad.
Merry Christmas.
And this is on the CD that'll be available. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Join us if you know the words.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas with lots of presents to make you happy. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas with mistletoe and lots of cheer, with lots of laughter throughout the year from the bottom of my heart.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad.
Yeah.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you outside.